Hey everyone, Crystal Grace here and welcome to this reading, which is all about what is the gossip. So this one is a bit different to the usual gossip readings we do here. This one will be pinpointing astro placements. So considering your sun, moon, rising sign, but also Mercury as well. Mercury is affiliated with communication and thoughts. So naturally, when we're tapping into what's the gossip, I just think it makes sense to include Mercury placement. If you don't know your Mercury placement, I've put a link down in the description for you to go and check that out. But obviously the importance with the birth chart reading, there's no point ever really doing a birth chart reading or pulling the chart if you do not know the time and location of where you were. It just defeats the purpose, I think. But, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. It's not to say if you don't know it and you feel called, you can still utilize what is presented to you and just allow that birth chart to intuitively guide you in life, okay? So also you will see there is a 13th sign I've included for this reading, Ophiuchus. So it's a sign that is considered in sidereal astrology. That doesn't necessarily mean you look at sidereal placements for this reading. It's just that I see all these astrology tarot readings on YouTube, and I've never actually seen that sign included. So I'm just, you know, I'm all about inclusion. What we also see here is 3 decks created by the same person. So Dark Sinevere, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, I should say. Anyway, so we're just sort of doing a bit of a collab here. I'm going to utilize his decks on my channel. If you are interested in purchasing them, I will have a specific link for you to go and purchase them on his website. I am waiting for that link, so definitely keep an eye out in future descriptions, or if you come at a later date, the link should already be below. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's find out what the gossip is on you. Hey Aries, welcome to your reading. So we are going to find out what is the current gossip on you, my courageous and very positive mindset individuals. Impatience and impulsive is your way of life. No, I shouldn't say way of life, but it's something that I think you get excited about. It's quite, you thrive in an environment where everything is moving quite quickly and it's fun, it's exciting, and that's impulsive, and that is impatient really. Or characteristics, the outcome of those characteristics, I guess. So let's find out what the current gossip is on our Aries, please. So we've got the 7 of Wands. We've got the 3 of Cups, more wands, so a lot of fire already. We've got the 3 of Wands. We've got Temperance. I will fix that camera angle in a minute. Bit of a glare, isn't there? Alrighty. What is the gossip? So what was that? Temperance and judgment. Not judgment, justice. All wands. Look, Seven of Wands, like, I feel like the energy I'm picking up is like maybe a conversation has taken place, or maybe there is a difference in how you are engaging with like friends or family. There seems to be a shift in your energy and how much effort you are putting in or not putting into your connections. I feel like what the gossip here regarding you at this time is that you're not that within itself. Like, you haven't been putting in the same amount of effort in your friendships, in your romantic connections as you have previously done before. I feel like the whole concept of fighting for relationships is no longer your focus anymore, is what people are talking about. I feel with the Seven of Wands, people are definitely discussing any boundaries you've put in place, or you have newfound boundaries. You seem to be very unattainable or unaccessible is what I think is the main energy here. I feel like what people are also talking about with the Seven of Wands, Aries, is that you have become more protective of your energy, and you're also defending yourself. I feel like people are talking about how if anyone tries to, like, whether or not it's dim your light is the right word they'd be saying, or like, they're trying to sort of like shake you up or rattle you. I feel like you are being discussed that you are defending yourself now. You're no longer just sort of sitting back and allowing people to like talk smack about you, put you down, tell you your ideas are no good. Like, you are starting to be very protective of your energy, of your, I was going to say your nature, but I feel like your reputation is sort of what I'm getting from that Seven of Wands. Now, Three of Cups, right? It's very fun, bubbly energy here. I would have to say the gossip here is got to do with, you know, people really appreciating, celebrating with you, attending social events with you. If that's not the case, then what the gossip would be is you having attended a social event and people talking about what happened at that event. Right? There would have been drinking, partying, maybe lots of food here. So weddings, when we think about Three of Cups, can be weddings, engagements, like baby showers, baby christenings, all that sort of jazz. But friendship is also an aspect of the Three of Cups heavily linked here. So whether or not this is giving us confirmation that people who are coming through with this gossip are your friends, or maybe the gossip here is people talking about the friendships you have. You may have very unique, different friendships. Like, maybe your friends are very different and unique to you, and people are talking about that. Now, potential suitors, or someone having many potential suitors, is also correlates with the Three of Cups. So people could be talking about how you attended a social event and there was a lot of suitors there. But I feel like with that Seven of Wands, you weren't that overly keen, or you may not have even been that observant to there being these suitors like being really drawn to you because you were with your friends. So people could be talking about that. Anything else? Yeah, I think if you're in a happy work environment, people are definitely talking about that. If you've been reaching any financial goals or financial stability, people are also gossiping about that. The Three of Cups is a highly positive card. It really depends on what other cards are around it, seen as the ones that are around that came out in your spread. I would have to read that card from a positive point of view. Okay, so moving on to the Three of Wands as gossip. You could be looking at, you know, thinking about the Two of Wands moving to the Three of Wands. If you've had some kind of plan in place, taking the first step, and you finally made a decision, what people are talking about is you taking the next steps towards a plan you've been working on or focusing on to bring into fruition. I also feel like people talk about how you are more of an optimistic person. You're always looking to the future as opposed to the past. There's definitely a newfound level of confidence to you because of some recent growth you've gone through, is what people could be talking about. And foresight is also affiliated with the Three of Wands. So people could really be talking about how you're accuracy on foresight, like for you to say, yep, this is going to work, it works. So people are probably gossiping about how any advice you can provide them is sound advice. It's trusted advice. But traveling, long distance, that sort of energies are connected with the Three of Wands. So if you've been traveling, people have been talking about that. If you're in some kind of long distance relationship, people are talking about that. New love could be on the horizon for some of you, and people are talking about that. And on the back end of the Three of Cups, what are you doing in there? Wait, stop it. So if you're new to my channel, Cats and Cards, well, I don't know, I have like 2 names because I'm so unorganized for a Virgo moon, but I have cats and they like to, you know, follow me around the house. So sometimes I get interrupted, so apologies. But yeah, that's sort of what I'm picking up. Yeah, back end of the Three of Cups. Maybe new love is on the horizon, or maybe what people are gossiping about is they want new love on the horizon for you. I think if you've been single for a long time, there seems to be some gossip about you having many suitors and them sort of saying like, you know, hopefully new love is on the horizon for, I was going to say pile 1, but Aries. Because it's probably been a long time coming for some of you. Alrighty, so Temperance is gossip. What way can we look at temperance? I guess temperance and judgment even together. I don't know, maybe you're just more balanced these days is what people could be talking about. So like thinking about that energy, I was picking up impulsive, impatient sort of behavior, which isn't a negative thing, right? You got to take your flaws, and if you're taking what people may seem as flaws and utilizing it to succeed in life, it's not a flaw, right? Being impulsive and impatient is, I don't think, it's a flaw, depending which area of life you're using it. Like if you're using it in your love life, that's never going to end well. I know that because I used to be like that when I was 20. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's this newfound sense of inner calmness within you people are talking about. And obviously temperance is heavily linked to patience, right? Somebody being very at peace, very balanced. So there is this newfound sense of self people are talking about. You've changed. So whether or not you've gone and spent time with your friends and they're like, yeah, Aries has changed, right? But I also feel like the harmonious relationships, soulmate energy of temperance is also shining through here. Like I actually think people really want to see you happy, Aries. I think the people around you think it's the time is now for you to be able to like find a suitor, settle down, because you've already reached some sort of financial stability. So they're like, well, this is the only thing that's missing, sort of like that 10 of Cups energy. You know, and I think that's what people could be gossiping about here. And then to close out your reading with the Justice card, right? You could be signing legal documents and people are talking about that. And that sort of ties in with that financial stability or some sort of financial growth for some of you. For others of you, you could be going through maybe a bit of a legal dispute at this time. And then for others of you, people could be talking about how, you know, you're such a true speaker. You're a very honest person. You live life by the law, universal law is what I'm hearing. And obviously you're a big advocate for karmic justice, right? For both good and bad karma. So that is what I have for you. Let me know if you guys like that. And if you're looking for a personal reading, I have a link down to my Etsy store in the description box. I'll see you next time. Bye. Taurus, welcome. Let's jump into it. Let's find out what is the current gossip on our Taurus is. We have the Moon. We've got the Seven of Pentacles. You're hiding. You're hiding what you're working on. We've got the Ten of Wands. We have the Nine of Swords. And we have this Chariot. So Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Something to consider. So the vibe, a main message that simply came through with the Moon and the Seven of Pentacles is like people are talking about something you are not sharing with them, okay? You're definitely spending a lot of time and energy on a project or a hobby that they are aware of what that is, but they're not aware of what you're actually doing, you know, what ideas you're going to bring forth. So these could be competitors gossiping to, you know, their friends and family, like, you know, Taurus is doing this. You know, they're really good at this, but I feel like they're working on something, but I don't know what it is. And you may have a lot of competition around you is what I'm hearing, right? You've got people who all eyes are on you in regards to when it comes to work or something you are working on, and you're working hard is what I feel. And the reason why I know you're working hard, Taurus, is because the Ten of Wands come out. And when the Ten of Wands comes out next to the Seven of Pentacles, I can only assume that you're on the brink of burnout, but you are happy to burn out. You're happy to put all your time and energy into something in order to overcome obstacles, delays, setbacks, to get an idea off the ground. Now, the Nine of Swords with the Chariot coming out, like people could be gossiping about, you know, this, whatever you're working on could be completely, utterly stressing you out, but you're soldiering on with the Chariot. Like, I think you work better under pressure is what people are talking about. It's phenomenal to watch you work when there's all this chaotic energy surrounding you, like everything's failing, but you seem to work best in those environments. So this could be your boss talking about this. So that's just the main message I'm getting there with all of those cards collectively being considered. So let's get into it. The Moon. There seems to be obviously something going on in your life that people are gossiping about that isn't that great. And the only reason why I state that, and we'll sit with that with confidence, is the Moon talks about deception, insecurities, some kind of instability. But so does the Ten of Wands, talks about burnout, exhaustion. And then the Nine of Swords talks about fear, anxiety, sleepless nights. So if everything's going really well and you're not sitting in that state of disarray, then I probably choose a different sign placement as opposed to sitting here and listening to this. Or it could be something that happens like in the future. It's sort of like a premonition here. So take that as it feels right for you. So yeah, if anything deceptive has recently happened around you, people could be talking about that. People could be talking about how your intuition is blocked to this deception, right? Others of you, they could be talking about you releasing fear because you have been deceived in the past. So there seems to be a bit of past energy coming through. If you've been uncertain in your career, people could be talking about that. They could be like suggesting that you should be looking at other options, but maybe looking at other options, you know, ignites anxiety within you. Unveiling secrets is another thing coming through. So I feel like if deception's unfolding around you or is happening to you, I feel like what people are gossiping about is unveiling these secrets to you, somebody coming forward. I think if I saw a page come out in your spread, I'd feel very confident with that because it talks about it, communication coming your way. So it could be just the fact that it's at the starting stages of somebody talking about unveiling secrets towards you or bringing secrets to you that might resolve this anxious feeling you're feeling. So people could be gossiping about you confiding in them, feeling uncertain about a person's intentions, uncertain about your job, and they're talking about to somebody else that they know what you're feeling. So people aren't being very honest around you is what I feel at this time. And it's I'm not picking up it's because it's deliberate, because they don't want to be the burden of bad news. I think they don't want to stick their nose in where it doesn't belong, because if this is workplace related, then their job will be on the line, is sort of what I'm picking up there with that moon energy, which is quite interesting. We do have the Seven of Pentacles. So when we think about that in the gossip sense, it's a highly positive card, but it can also talk about setbacks, right? Depending how you look at it, in the upright or the reversal. But hitting a rough patch is heavily linked with the Seven of Pentacles. And based off the other energy of these cards, I would have to say it's more pushing towards that. You could have been putting in all the hard work. You could have been trying to nurture the relationships. You could have been trying to turn a friendship into a romantic connection, but it's hitting a rough patch is what I'm hearing that's been said. Someone around you could be gossiping about how they need me time and they don't want to put the effort in to the connection with you. And I'm really sorry if that is resonating, because that would be a very triggering message. But please trust that I do not sit here and conjure negative messages or energies to ruin your day, evening or night. It's not how I do things here. I don't sit here and blow smoke up your ass. I literally sit here and, channel, and hopefully it just reaches the right person to put them on the right path, right? Because there's a lot of fucking assholes out there, right, in the dating world. There are billions of them. It's so hard to find that needle in the haystack, but you will find it. So yeah, there seems to be gossip surrounding some kind of setback, maybe you enduring some kind of frustration. People could be talking about a person that you are dealing with who's quite lazy. They don't understand why you're investing time and energy or trying to nurture a relationship with a person who's actually quite lazy. And this person could be like a man-child, right? The Sabrina Carpenter's new song is coming through. So maybe a lot of you can resonate with that, and even apply that to flipping that to the women, right? Acting like women child. Like just want everybody to wipe their ass for them, whatever. Sorry, a bit vulgar. 10 of Wands though, there's definitely some kind of like burden you've been carrying, people are talking about. Yeah, I think people really are wanting you, or discussing you taking more care of yourself because of the struggles you've endured, the stress that you've been focusing on or having to deal with. If you've been feeling overworked or overwhelmed, people are discussing that. If you've dealt with financial burdens, struggling to pay or make ends meet, people are gossiping about that. And to be fair, Taurus, if people are going to sit there and talk about your financial struggles and you are properly struggling, well, the least they can do is send some money or groceries your way if it's that bad. I think there's nothing more disgusting than people sitting around talking about somebody's financial circumstances and know that you're starving or you can't pay your rent, and these are family and friends. That's pretty toxic. So moving on. So 9 of Swords. Yeah. So obviously if you've been dealing, like going through it, like depression, anxiety, like some of you could have even been having nightmares. People are gossiping about that. So these are people obviously very close to you who know your business. So just be mindful. It sucks because I know my eldest sister, I'm the youngest of 6. It's like a Brady Bunch family. I won't go into it. But my older sister, she's a Gazette. And a Gazette is like a fucking newspaper, right? So you confide in her and then like she'll go and tell everyone because she lacks substance to like talk about things, right? I shouldn't say that I don't say that in a horrible way. But that's the only reason. Like, why would you go and share somebody's setbacks or losses with random people that they don't know? Like, that doesn't make any sense other than, just being a Gazette. Still a great person, love her to bits, but there's a flaw there. So 9 of Swords definitely indicates to me like maybe that really resonates with you, the people gossiping about you, or people who love you, who will help you. If you ask for help, they will help you, but they also share your business everywhere, right? Now, some of you could be haunted by the past, right? And people are talking about that. And when I say haunted by the past, is what they're saying is like you really distrust people in new relationships. It's really hard for you to like put all your eggs in the one basket when you've had such a haunted past, right? You probably haven't had a lot of luck in love for some of you, and others of you, if you have, just let that one go. Suspicious of partners is another aspect of the Nine of Swords people could be talking about, but I feel like people could be gossiping about you being suspicious of them as a friend, right? I think you're very standoffish with people. I think it takes a year or a couple of years for some of you to actually show all of the sides to you, to your friends. I was even going to say your family, but I would say that's family members of suitors is what I'm hearing. But yeah, there is this element here of anxiety and negativity with the Nine of Swords. People are talking about, you know, stuff that you are probably struggling with. But I don't feel like they're putting you down about it. They're sort of talking about it. So it could be just the fact why you haven't settled down, you know, why you're still single, that sort of jazz. And then to close out your reading with the Chariot. The Chariot. Yeah, I don't know. I think you've already gone through all of these, like, or you're either going through trials and tribulations, and the Chariot's about victory after overcoming obstacles and, you know, trials and tribulations. So I feel like this could be for some of you. People who have talked about all of this previous energy that come through, and then the Chariot's like, but they've overcoming it, or they're going to overcome it. So this is probably to sort of clarify that I don't think this gossip is happening in a low vibrational manner. I feel like these people are talking about the harsh truths that you've been dealing with, right? And I think with the Chariot, to close out your reading, is to confirm that. It's to say that, you know, there's nothing that you haven't been able to overcome. Like, you're a person who, once you get your groove back, once you start feeling ambitious and motivated, you will push forward towards your goals, right? And, you know, you will steer clear of things that no longer serve you, or you should be steering clear of things that no longer serve you. Like, don't keep going back to the person that is not showing up for you, is what these people could be talking about. Don't. No jumpy jumpies. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if that resonated, Taurus. I really loved reading for you. If you're looking for a personal reading, head over to my Etsy store. The link is in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey Gemini, welcome to your reading. So let's get into it. Let's find out what is the gossip on you. Too much. Page of Pentacles, the World, Ace of Wands, the Hangman, and what's that? Two of Wands. Alrighty, so Page of Pentacles. Got the World, Two of Wands, Hangman. Sorry, the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands. Page of Pentacles has always sort of been my employment card out of all the cards, right? Well, Eight of Pentacles also as well, but Page of Pentacles is a strong employment card for me. So whether or not this gossip, that's like suggesting that this gossip is taking place at the work, taking place in the workplace. So I'm kind of picking up two messages with the Page of Pentacles. I feel like for some of you, what people are gossiping about is you being very ambitious and very goal orientated. Like, you're very dependable, you're a very loyal worker, right? And then for others of you, people could be talking about how like you seem to be becoming very bored, right? Your commitment is starting to lack. You are starting to become very distracted, a bit stagnant, right? Because the Hangman's come out and that's stagnant energy as well. So for some of you, you could feel like, for some of you, there could be some gossip about like you dropping the ball at work. So take it as it resonates. So for some of you, people are talking about how dependable you are, and others of you, maybe you're not showing up to work on time. Maybe you're starting to call in sick. You're sort of over it. And then others of you, people are talking about how you're super motivated, super into it. You want to set goals. You want to put the effort in. And others of you are like, you're avoiding work like the plague. You're lacking motivation. Yeah, you're just not really that interested. Now, if this was gossip surrounding your romantic life, I don't know. I think there could be gossip about, excuse me, don't do that. Please don't. You're wrecking the carpet. Stop it. You've got all the scratching posts in the world. You don't need to do that. If this is about your romantic life, I feel like the Page of Pentacles is talking about somebody talking about how like really good attributes about you, very loyal, dependable, but they might want to be wanting to spice things up with you. Like if you're dealing with anyone romantically, I feel like somebody is maybe talking about how passion is starting to lack and they need to spice things up. Like there's plenty of love opportunities for you. So if they don't step up, you're going to probably step away, and that's going to be like a missed opportunity, right? Because the Page of Pentacles is all about opportunities and positive ones. But obviously the flip side of that, you can have missed opportunities. So then another way you could look at it is somebody could be gossiping about you not being ready for a serious relationship. Like the idea of a relationship bores you to death for some of you, okay? So moving on, the World as gossip. I'm hearing this song that I used to have to sing at preschool, which is I've got the whole world in my hands. I think it's a religious song. I'm not going to sing it because that would be so embarrassing. Like thousands of people watch these, and the last thing you need to hear is me sing a Christian song. Sorry, I don't know if it's a Christian song. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, the World. Yeah, so I definitely feel like with this pile, for some of you, you're kicking goals, and for others of you, you may be just like not interested in kicking any goals, because we're seeing a theme here of stagnation, and that's okay. You know what, Gemini, you're not going to have a great week at work every week. You're going to hit some like low points in your career where you think, fuck, I don't want to be there. And that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The problem would be is if you continue down that path and you put yourself in a financial implication with your like money situation. Okay, so if you got sick leave, use it. You got annual leave, use it until you figure out what you want to do. That would be my advice from me to you. Because we need money. We need it, and it's good to have lots of it. So you can do what you want and go where you want and buy whatever you want. Within reason, of course. You don't want to be like all about materialistics. But I have a funny feeling we do have some Queen of Pentacles in this pile, and there's nothing wrong with having shiny things or looking the part. Okay, so the World, gossip. So people are definitely talking about your success, your achievements, your accomplishments, right? Anything to do with you reaching your goals. If you've opened up a business, people are talking about that, right? So I feel very high vibrational energy when I connect with that aspect of the world. I think a lot of you love to travel, or you are an accomplished traveler, and people are gossiping about that. But on the other flip side, as I said, I'm getting two different energies here. I definitely feel like with the World coming out, there has been a lack of success for some of you of late, and people are talking about that. And I think this is more coming back to the workplace. So there is some kind of stagnant energy within you because you aren't lacking success. So maybe a promotion you went after, you didn't get it. So people are talking about how since you didn't get the promotion, you seem very disinterested and not overly keen to be at the workplace anymore, right? There could be a sense of emptiness within you about that. And I get that, because when you work so hard for a fucking organization and then some other dickhead gets the promotion who's just, you know, excuse my French, but a bum licker to the boss, right? There's nothing wrong with bum licking if that's what you're into, but a bum licker is a figure of speech, you know, like a teacher's pet, that sort of thing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting vulgar. Hopefully I'm making you smile. And then we have the Two of Wands, right? So what I'm picking up with the Two of Wands, there is gossip here, just to flow on the back end of that last comment. It's sort of like you had a plan in place and it didn't take off, right? It was bad planning, bad timing, and people were gossiping about that. It just wasn't the right time for you. And I think that seems to be a bit of a cop-out. I think somebody's trying to justify why you weren't given an opportunity, right? Why a missed opportunity happened to you. And I think somebody is probably feeling somewhat guilty about not giving you some kind of promotion or like role or new responsibility in the workplace. For others of you, you know, you're really good at future planning. People are talking about you could be taking your relationship to the next level. You're good at setting expectations in a relationship, I'm hearing. And you're great at decision making, right? So again, this can correlate with this workplace stuff. They are talking about your pros. They could also talk about you having a tendency to overanalyze, and maybe that's the reason why you didn't get the promotion or the job. Some of you like to take risks and you like to leave your comfort zone, and that might not be suited in your work environment, right? That could have been a main reason as to why you didn't get a job or something. It could be the reason why you didn't land a certain suitor as well, because you are too sort of fiery is what I feel, which is funny as for a Gemini. Geminis are pretty like sit in their thoughts before they take action. So this is obviously something that you felt pretty confident regarding, and it didn't turn out or didn't pan out the way that you thought is what I'm hearing. So then we move to the Hangman. So the Hangman can suggest people could be talking about maybe your perspective on a certain situation, okay? They could be talking about yeah, maybe they're talking about you taking a step back to evaluate a situation or a person, okay? But it is a card that can talk about somebody feeling very disinterested or uncertain, right? Maybe what people are talking about is some kind of negative pattern that they're seeing within you, okay? So take this as it resonates and let it go if it doesn't. And so in regards to that perspective energy, maybe what they're gossiping about is that you need a new, like you are in need of a fresh perspective, right? Things aren't as bad as what they seem. You could be just clutching on to an outcome that was not meant for you. So maybe some like words of wisdom from me to you could be everything happens for a reason. Like, and I definitely believe rejection is protection. And man, I've been rejected that many times, like in my 20s, 30s even, like rejected or so many times, like especially when I finished uni. I applied for like 100 jobs, like because I wanted to work in the union and like fight for workers' rights and, you know, work for fair work, and just all these people just rejected me, and that's fine. But even my love life, heaps of rejection, don't really care. It is, well, I don't care now because I'm like just turned 41. So yeah, I can sit here and laugh about it. But when you're in the crux of that and learning that, it's horrible. Like it's a fucking really low point of your life. But I assure you, when you get older, you'll laugh about it and you'll think, fuck, those people were losers. Like, why did I even allow them to affect me that way? So hopefully that brings somebody peace. But yeah, keeping it moving, we have I already talked about, I think, the Two of Wands accidentally. I should have been talking about the Ace of Wands, shouldn't I? Yeah, okay. Well, there's a reason for us to close out your reading for the Ace of Wands, and I know that because this is such a high vibrational card, right? I think people could be talking about your creative spark. They could be talking about your sexual energy. If you've been flirting with anyone, people are definitely talking about that. You definitely know how to flirt, right? Pleasure is your forte. I think pleasure and pain for some of you could be into BDSM. Go you. I was looking at these things the other day and it was crazy. Like these, like sex equipment. There's some really interesting instruments out there, isn't there? Okay, Ace of Wands, right? So I think people are talking about or gossiping about some kind of inspiration that you have maybe inflicted on them. But you could be like there's something creative you do that brings you a lot of confidence and spark is what I'm hearing. So maybe what they're gossiping about here with the Ace of Wands is, you know, if Gemini goes and focuses on their creative outlet, like it sparks their enthusiasm, it sparks their energy, it like regenerates their energy is what I'm hearing. I feel like there is attraction. Somebody is very attracted to you at this time. Somebody is feeling very much in their romantic feels with you at this time with the Ace of Wands. It is the big dick energy card for me, right? It's like somebody with big old dick is very interested in you, Gemini. So I'm sorry if that sounded vulgar, but you know, you've got a lot on your plate. I think you need a bit of sense of humor coming your way. So if anyone is trying to flirt with you to get you to be attracted to them, this person's got the sauce. So you're not going to be bored with this person. It could be just a short-term relationship, right? But if you're feeling very bored in your love life, I think there's some gossip surrounding about you being open-minded to a short-term fling with somebody with big dick energy, right? Or like, you know, sexual pussy energy, whatever you want to. I don't even know what the opposite of that is in correlation to, you know, the female anatomy, but let me know. Put it down in the comments. This is an 18 plus only channel, so we do what we want here. I don't allow children on my platform. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I hope we closed out your reading with you feeling a bit more comfortable and smiling with my inappropriate behavior, but that's what I've got for you, Gemini. If you are looking for a personal reading, head over to my Etsy store. The link to that store is in the description box, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey Cancer, welcome to your reading. So let's get into it. Let's find out what the gossip is on you. I'm hearing sweet like chocolate. It's weird. Sweet like chocolate boy. What song is that? Wow, Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, Page of Cups. Shut the front door. What's going on here? You are very sweet. Holy fuck. 5 of Cups. We've got one more cups. No, we've got 2 of Pentacles. But holy moly, we've got the King of Cups on the bottom of the deck. We're not reading bottom deck energy, but what is going on here? Maybe you got a lot of romantic suitors gossiping about you. Yeah, I would have to feel pretty comfortable with that acknowledgement. For all of those court cards of cups, like they would, all 4 came out for the cups, right? And the sun's on the bottom underneath the King of Cups. You know what? But we do have the 5 of Cups here and the 2 of Pentacles, which kind of gives me the impression. So here's, I feel like, the main download here. There is gossip surrounding suitors that have let you down, brought you disappointment, maybe juggling you and other people, juggling you and work. So there is this strong emphasis of, you know, are not pursuing you the way they should have, right? Because I see you in Empress or Emperor energy is what I see. I see you high in the sky, or at least this is how these people are seeing you. And I think they all see you as a missed opportunity. So if you've got a lot of suitors in the past, you definitely have them all gossiping about how they've missed an opportunity with you, how they, you know, inflicted, you know, like grief and disappointment to you. I think people are definitely gossiping about losing you, right? I think they're very focused on a missed opportunity, but that's one way of looking at all the cards. But we are going to look at these cards individually, right? So the Knight of Cups, right? People, that's not to say, I think that's just a side note. I would actually have to say people are talking about pursuing you, right? People are gossiping about how charming you are, how romantic you are, how graceful you are. If you are artistic in any way, shape or form, people are talking about your art, your creativity here with the Knight of Cups. People could also talk about you being a little bit moody. They could talk about how you avoid like conflict, like the plague. If people showcase any sort of unrealistic or turmoil, like energy, you will avoid them, is what I'm hearing. You definitely avoid confrontation and conflict. So you may be pretty strong with your ghost game, or like you just disappear. You don't want to argue. You just say, okay, I see you for what you is. I see you for who you are, and then you sort of leave. Now, thinking about that initial energy coming through, you've got people from your past gossiping about missed opportunities with you. So I kind of feel like you've already gone through the ringer in your romantic life, right? And being Cancers, you wear your heart on your sleeve. It's pretty fucked. It's kind of annoying. Doesn't matter, especially if Venus is in Cancer. Like if your Venus is in Cancer, like, ugh. It takes a lifetime to control falling in love after locking eyes with somebody. It becomes a skill. Anyway, I definitely feel like with the Knight of Cups, somebody is gossiping about how attracted they are. They find you very charming. They like your flirting style. They want to become very flirtatious with you. I think somebody's talking about wanting to sweep you off your feet, right? Or take a chance on you, or hoping you take a chance on them. You have many suitors around you, Cancer. There is a lot of people gossiping about pursuing you, but how do they pursue somebody who's kind of out of their league, right? I think you finally have come to the realization of your worth, and you're not going to put up with the bullshit you have put up in the past, right? You know, you've already been down the road of shit. And I think what the gossip is here is like, you know, yeah, I just feel like you would rather miss an opportunity if it's going to prevent disappointment, is what somebody's saying. And I think maybe what the gossip is like, I've, you know, presented maybe not the best sort of behavior or treatment towards Cancer. So if anyone has been running hot and cold, what they're saying is like, I think I've missed out an opportunity because I didn't tell them how I feel, is what I'm picking up with that Knight of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups, right? This is definitely confirming you having many admirers, many suitors around you, right? 100%. And I think why, like the gossip is why does Cancer have so many suitors, is because you're very caring, very loving. You have a very loving nature. You're also very intuitive. You're compassionate. You're very healing. I think a lot of you, if you're not even aware, I don't want to sit here and say it's a Cancer thing, because it wouldn't be. But one thing I feel confident in saying, or I'm being told, is Cancers can provide sexual healing in sexual intimate moments. So what you'll find is people will want to keep coming back to you for sex, because they walk away feeling heaps better than what they were feeling before the sexual encounter or the sexual act. So just be careful of that. You are also known or being spoken about as being very supportive. Okay, so somebody could be gossiping about after every time they have sex with Cancer, they go away and I just feel like I feel so much better about myself. That's kind of toxic. How are you feeling after having that sex with them? Like, as long as you're feeling the same, keep going for it. But if it begins to make you feeling very overly sensitive, very fragile, or insecure, you're absorbing their energy and you need to quit sleeping with those sorts of people. You want to sleep with people that make you feel like energized and like, you know, like Luna. I think she owns the home. So yeah, Luna is very selective with her time and energy. She's also very selective with coming up to this camera, aren't you, puss? So yeah, that's what I'm getting with the Queen of Cups, right? You could have been a bit of a clingy lover in the past here with the Queen of Cups, right? It's not a bad thing, right? When you're really into somebody, you're into them, right? And I think you put more effort into a relationship than you received. And I think people are gossiping about that. I think that's more past energy though, right? Okay, so Page of Cups. So this could be talking about a creative outlet here, because the Page of Cups can talk about, you know, somebody putting in the work in a creative project, and it kind of stems from their childhood. So the gossip, therefore, could be like you were very creative at something as a child. And maybe you just sort of shined away from that. And now you are sort of tapping back into that hobby again. That creative project is what I'm hearing. You are very sensitive. You could be quite innocent. Some people could be talking about you being a little bit naive, but I think that naive energy of the Page of Cups would be stemming from like people talking about like maybe you have fallen for the wrong kinds of people because you give the benefit of the doubt. You wear rose-colored glasses. I don't think you wear rose-colored glasses. I think you just you trust easily, right, is what they could be talking about. If you are in any kind of connection and it's progressing, I think the gossip here of this person is them talking about how excited they are in regards to having this opportunity with you. If you've got any crushes happening around you at the moment, I think, I don't want to say if you have, I feel like you've either got you've got potential crushes, you've got admirers, it's the same thing. Just different wording, I guess. But I feel like with the Page of Cups, like people are gossiping about like sending you like communication to like show you that they're interested, right? To show that like, hey, I'm here is what I'm hearing. But these people feel very insecure because they don't want to be on the receiving end of disappointment. And because you are up there in the sky, I think a lot of people get too nervous to approach you, Cancer. And I think you know who you are and what you bring to the table now. If you don't, this is something that's going to unfold quite quickly. And I think if these people are like emotionally immature people, like they want to pursue you, but they know they've got nothing to offer you other than just disappointment is what I feel. If people can't love you the way that they can see you want love or need love, I think that's when they pull their energy away from you. So it's not you, it's they know that they can't live up to what they need to deliver. And that's good. That means you've done the work to know that, for them to know there's no point pursuing you if they can't pursue you in the right, correct manner. So that means you've done the work, I would have to say. Now, the Five of Cups, and on the back end of that last message, you know, maybe they don't pursue you because they don't want to bring you more heartbreak, right? They may be aware or gossiping about you grieving from past relationships, so they don't want to go full steam ahead for some of you. Some of you are already in a romantic connection. This person could be gossiping about why they're not moving things as quickly as they would with somebody else, and it could be the fact that you are still mourning disappointment or some kind of grief that happened with a past lover. All right. They could even be gossiping about you being still focused on a past relationship that was toxic or did not work out in the way that you were hoping, right? So yeah, healing from the past is something that could be spoken about you at this time. And then we'll close out the reading with the Two of Pentacles. So this can talk about somebody talking about or gossiping about you finding more balance and maybe being a bit more flexible in nature. You could have been a bit more rigid or all about, I'm seeing Virgo, so very planned in your routine. You didn't want to like shift things around. Somebody is gossiping about you becoming more relaxed is what I'm picking up with this Two of Pentacles. I also feel like somebody is gossiping about wanting to put more effort in prioritizing their time with you. So that's for those who are seeing somebody. Could be just like a friends with benefit. It could be just a very fresh connection. But I feel like somebody is gossiping about wanting to move this connection forward with the Two of Pentacles. For others of you, people could be talking about you juggling too much, right? People could be talking about you neglecting your love life or your relationships because you are focusing more on that creative project or you are focusing more on your responsibilities at work. Yeah, I don't know. I feel for all of this so far, even with the other signs I've completed, it's been pretty good. So that's what I've got for you, Cancer. If you are looking for a personal reading, the link to my Etsy store is in the description box. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, Leo, welcome. Welcome to your reading. So let's find out what is the gossip on Leo at this time. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, slow mover. It's not like a Leo. We have the Eight of Cups. We've got the Devil. We have the King of Swords. And we've got the Queen of Wands, Four of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. Alrighty. So I think with the Knight of Pentacles in relation to gossip, right? I feel like if any of you have been I don't know, considering maybe like a risky investment, that could be in regards to work or even a suitor. People are talking about that. They could be talking about it being deemed irresponsible. And the reason why that would be is it could be the fact that the work that you're considering is, you know, you're not going to be like, overly interested in it. You won't be super driven by the job, or you won't have the same focus that you have in maybe your current job or in another field. For others of you, it could be just the fact that you your risky investment has something to do towards somebody you are pursuing, somebody who is demonstrating to be very unstable, that is known to neglect be neglective in their relationships, be disloyal even, so like a cheater. Now, for others of you, when we look at the Knight of Pentacles, the gossip here is about you within itself. So people are talking about you being very efficient, very practical, very reliable. So if any of you are going for a job and this is the outcome of gossip happening after the job interview, this is like you're on the money here. You should most likely get the job if you're being seen as the Knight of Pentacles. People are definitely talking about how hardworking you are and how committed you are to the job. Okay, or how committed you are to a person or maybe your family, your children. I think people are talking about how patient and practical you are. You're very slow moving. You're the slowest person on the planet when it comes to pursuing relationships, right? And going after what you want. You're a very trustworthy person, right? Without a doubt, people are talking about. If if anything, people could be talking about like why you haven't found somebody, why you're so slow moving into finding a suitor. And it's because you are looking for the same traits that you portray. So trustworthy, dependable, patient, practical, ambitious, focused. Like, I think somebody is gossiping about you not wanting to settle down with somebody who doesn't have the same drive or focus when it comes to career or financial goals as well, is what I'm hearing. We do have the Eight of Cups, right? So when we think about gossip and this card, it could be talking about something you've recently let go of or walked away from, okay? But it can also talk about somebody needing time alone to contemplate their life, their relationships, their next steps, maybe in career. So obviously you are facing some kind of maybe change for some of you. Okay. And if that's not resonating, it could be that like people could be gossiping about you, maybe like ending up in an unfulfilling relationship, so you hold back. Others of you, people could be talking about you having a fear of being alone, right? And that's why you stay in an unfulfilling relationship. If you're in an unfulfilling relationship, people are talking about that you are staying in it because you don't want to be alone. So there's that fear of change as well coming through. So people could be talking about how you will stay in the same job or stay in the same relationship because you don't handle change well. That's another way we could look at the Eight of Cups. Some of you could be being gossiped about you leaving an unfulfilling job here, and you're in the stages of planning ahead your finances so you can make that change. Some of you could be going on a vacation, a very extravagant one I'm hearing, and people are talking about that. And some of you, there's some gossip around you choosing your happiness over financial security, or maybe that you need to start considering your happiness over financial security. Maybe you've got a very draining job. Maybe they're super long hours. The roster's really shit. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of picking up with the Eight of Cups. The Devil. So the Devil can talk about people gossiping in secrecy, right? So maybe they're gossiping about any addictions you've had. Maybe they're gossiping about how obsessed they are, right? If anyone has been dealing with infidelity or people cheating on you or you cheating on them, people are definitely gossiping about that. I'm also hearing people are gossiping about your views on cheating. Some of you have a very no tolerance for cheating. Okay. You could be very materialistic and people are gossiping about that. But this whole feeling trapped and sort of on the back end of that Eight of Cups, I feel like if any of you are feeling very trapped in your job because of financial security, people are talking about that. The Devil is definitely confirming that for us. And then for others of you, people are definitely gossiping about you finally gaining control, breaking free from any negative patterns with maybe your romantic life, okay? The decisions you choose or you make. Some of you have overcome addiction and people are talking about that, and therefore you've reclaimed your power because you've released something that no longer controls you. So well done if that resonates. Independence is also heavily linked with the Devil when we break free or detach ourselves from addictions or like dependency. So people are definitely talking about a newfound freedom for some of you because you've overcome addiction. Reclaiming like your power is what I'm really hearing here. If you've had bad financial habits in the past, you're starting to gain control is what I'm hearing in regards to a discussion happening about you. I think that's good. I actually feel more connected with this Devil energy as a positive sense of gossip. Like you could be spoken about that you're now seeing the bigger picture, like you're choosing happiness over unfulfilling life choices. So jobs, like bad connections with food, bad connections with fitness, because that is also a thing. So I think that's positive to see. Then we have the King of Swords. So your intelligence is definitely being discussed about. I feel like you're a person, or the gossip here is you're a person who makes a very good counselor. Like somebody is gossiping about how they can go to you and get advice from you because you're very wise and diplomatic. I think somebody is also gossiping about you with this King of Swords. It could be a King of Swords gossiping about you, but what they're saying is like you don't choose sides. Like you don't what's the word? Like you're so logical and practical in the way you think. Like you don't blow smoke up somebody's ass for the sake of it. Like if somebody's telling you something and you think like it's low vibrational act or low vibrational energy that they're tapping into, you will speak the truth, right? With this King of Swords, you use logic in all your decision making, I feel, which is I guess it's a sort of Leo trait. Like you're a wise mentor, and if I feel like maybe the gossip here is I'm getting confused. Sorry about that. But the gossip could be like, you know, the best thing about Leo is if I need sound counsel, I can go to them. I'm going to get an honest response. I'm not going to get some bullshit fluff. They're very direct. They're very blunt. They don't sugarcoat anything, and they tell me the harsh truths is what I'm hearing. So this could be a friend gossiping about you. If you were a father, people could be gossiping about how doting of a father you are, which kind of gives me like King of Cups energy, to be honest, if I had to be brutally honest. But the King of Swords, you're very ambitious, and I think we saw that with the Knight of Pentacles. I don't know, people could be like, yeah, sort of like you're very strict and rigid, like when it comes to what's wrong and right is what I'm hearing. Like you're all about integrity. You act with integrity wherever you go. And maybe people are gossiping about you having very high standards. Yeah. You're stern, but you're helpful. I kind of get parent energy. Like, you know, when your parent is just trying to like parent you, but like it never feels like that. It's sort of like this stern, angry energy, but like it's helpful. So maybe the gossip is like how you deliver your advice is very like parental, like sort of vibe. It's very stern. It's like, fuck, if I don't take, you know, Leo's advice, I'm not going to hear the end of it. Like I feel like the gossip could be like, this one time I asked them advice, I didn't take their advice, all this bullshit like unfolded, and I went back to them, I told them what happened, I didn't get sympathy, I didn't get like a cuddle, I told you not to do that sort of energy. You're very like autocratic. For a Leo, that's pretty surprising, which could just mean that you've had to like work on that certain area of yourself to be more like no more bullshit sort of vibe. But you are definitely being discussed, like you're always acting from a very logical point of view is being discussed. You could spend your money very frugal is what I'm hearing. Like you could be very frugal with the way you're spending money at this time. Somebody could be talking about that. For others of you, people could be talking about a King of Swords you've dealt with. Like some of you could have dealt with somebody who was very selfish. They were abusing their power and their intellect over you. You know, they could be talking about how somebody was very dishonest and ruthless to you. So I'm sorry if that does resonate. And then to close out your reading with the Queen of Wands, saucy. So people are definitely gossiping about your glow up, I would have to say, your beauty, your aesthetics. If you've done any recent like changes with your beauty, I definitely feel like people are gossiping about that. If you are dealing with anyone romantically, they could be talking about like you being a very confident lover between the sheets. You're very independent. You're very fertile as well, so take that as it resonates. But you're very charismatic and self-assured, and this person's very attracted to that is what I'm hearing. For others of you, this is Luna. If you've never seen Luna, don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're very passionate in the sheets. Please stop doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Don't. Oh, come here. Okay. Maybe what they're talking about is you're more open now. Like as the connection deepens, if you are building a strong bond with somebody, maybe what they're gossiping about is you becoming more open, like you're really closed off, you don't really share emotions. And like as things are sort of speeding up between you and them, you're starting to open up more with feelings. For some of you, people are gossiping about how closed off you are with feelings, right? Like you're not overly emotional, okay? Or maybe it's just you don't let people too close to your heart space until you know that you can trust them. Somebody could be talking about that. But you definitely are making smart financial decisions, or at least this is what people are talking about. Or at least you are taking action in order to make smarter financial decisions. So that comes back into that whole frugal energy with that King of Swords. I think like you have good money management and people are discussing this. And I feel like what they're gossiping about, it's like you're inspiring others to be better with their money, or maybe somebody's gossiping about inspiring you to be better with your money, right? But you have this next level of determination at this time in taking action for a better, brighter future when it comes to money. Somebody is talking about that. So that is what I've got for you guys. Let me know if that resonated, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey Virgo, welcome to your reading. So let's find out what the gossip is on a year. Ace of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Obviously some kind of relationship. We've got the Six of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. We do have the Sun on the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Interesting. It's a bit glary, isn't it? Let's see. Doesn't really do much. Okay. Well, I can't help to think that people are gossiping about a relationship here. Like if any of you are pursuing somebody who you would deem a queen or a king of pentacles. So this is somebody who is well established. They've got lots of money, great job, probably own a home, got a good car, that kind of jazz. I would say people are very much gossiping about this because Six of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune, this is talking about a very successful relationship, soulmate relationship even. So I will go back and look at these cards unique, like individually, but there is a strong, if you're in any kind of relationship, people are heavily gossiping about this in a very positive light. Like there is, it's what's been discussed is like how abundant this relationship is going to make the both of you. A lot of prosperity is going to come from a connection like this, right? Because you're both you're both counterparts, but you're both you have the same morals and the values. You want the same things in life is what people are talking about. Like there's a victory here, right? Things are finally moving in your favor with the Wheel of Fortune. Like people are talking about how you finally met a counterpart that aligns with like you as a person, comes to the table with the same maybe finances, comes to the table with the same values and morals. And that can be really hard to find. Like sometimes you meet somebody and it's like, oh, they've got some aspects of what you're looking for, but then like there's this whole other side of them and it's just rotten scum shit. And so I feel like for a lot of you, if you're pursuing somebody at this time, and because you're in that Pentacles energy, neither of you are rushing into this connection. It's moving very healthily, it's moving very slowly, it's moving gradually, right? It's not rushing in and moving in with each other after like a day of knowing each other, that kind of vibe. There's no erratic energy here, and people are also gossiping about that. You are pursuing somebody who is very stable, very grounded, and also has a lot to bring to the table, okay? Now, when we look at these cards individually, this is a highly positive reading, Virgo. I just want you to know that with all these positive cards, like people are definitely talking about your new opportunities that have resulted in prosperity or abundance, right? Some of you have actively made decisions or taken steps towards something that has worked in your favor is what I'm hearing. I feel like some of you have crossed paths with a suitor that is providing a very loyal, secure, and stable connection for you. People are gossiping about that. There seems to be a fresh start in love for this sign, which is great. If it's not love, then it's maybe a new job, right? A new great opportunity people are discussing, right? A new opportunity in your career and your finances. So maybe some of you... it's now is a good time for investing and planning for the future, and people are gossiping about that. And that could have just happened because you've got a new promotion, your income has changed, and somebody's gossiping about that. Now, when we look at the Queen of Pentacles as gossip, so obviously traits are being discussed here. So you being very generous, very sensible, you're very nurturing and practical. You're also very down to earth, but you like the finer things in life, right? So you may be spoken about that you do like to spend money, but you've got money to spend, right? I think if you are dealing with anyone, people could be gossiping about how this person is very confident, they're very secure, and they're going to nurture you, right? And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear people are connecting with suitors who are going to like bring vitality to their life, not fucking ruin it, burning their houses down or whatever. You have very strong motherly energy, and maybe your counterpart is discussing this. Maybe they're gossiping about the traits that are really that they're really drawn to you. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean there's no indifferences between you and this person, because there's always indifferences. But I feel like you've met your match, or at least this person feels like they've met their match. Like when people see somebody in the light of Queen of Pentacles, they know they can have a very stable, grounded relationship with those people. Like the person is not erratic, they're not wishy-washy, like they're not out, running games on anyone, but they're also a very successful, practical person, right? And most people want to be with a successful, practical person, especially a King of Pentacles or a Queen of Pentacles. Neither of these two types of individuals want to be with other people who don't match their energy. They want to be with this like for like. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when money is involved. So, you could have a bit of a jealous streak, a bit of possessive side to you. Somebody could be gossiping about that, but I feel like they like that about you. If you've shown signs of jealousy or possessiveness, I think this turns them on, is what I'm hearing. So the King of Pentacles, the gossip here could, be adding to what we picked up with the Queen of Pentacles, is that you are very abundant. You do have some form of discipline when it comes to financial gains. You're very protective of yourself and maybe of your family. You are a smart businesswoman, smart businessman, okay? And you're super fucking reliable. And people, I feel like what they're gossiping about here is that they feel very safe in your energy, that you make people feel safe. If you're dealing with a romantic suitor, they feel safe with you. They feel like you're not going to run off with some other Tom, Dick or Harry or Susan, Jenny, Rachel. They feel like they can depend on you, right? They also are gossiping about how patient you are. Now, they could be talking about your patience because they're slow moving, or that you're slow moving and they just deem that as patience, or they're discussing that. But you are presented as a generous provider, or somebody who can provide generously. I also think securing a relationship with you is also being discussed. So it could just mean, if you're not dealing with anyone particularly, a lot of people see you as their divine counterpart here. Like, you have all the attributes of a king and a queen of pentacles, which is pretty much an emperor in my opinion. So if you have started up a business venture and it's been successful, other people could be talking about that as well. Then we move to the Six of Wands, victory, right? This is public recognition. So people, if any of you are doing anything in the public eye, people are definitely talking about this. I think if you're very proud about something you've been working on or showing to the world, people are talking about this. Now, it is a card that can talk about taking a relationship to the next level, success in love, love coming your way. So take that as it resonates, right? So either way, you've got a couple of suitors chasing you. Like, you could have a Queen of Pentacles gossiping about wanting to pursue a relationship with you, but you could also have this King of Pentacles wanting to pursue a relationship with you, right? Because the Six of Wands talks about love coming your way. So somebody could be gossiping about multiple people being interested in pursuing you at this time, because you bring so much to the table. For others of you, there could be some kind of promotion or reward being discussed in the workplace as well when we think about the Six of Wands. But your financial stability and security is really standing out for me. Like, in my third eye, I like sort of see somebody throwing money in the air. Like, lucky you, lucky you, Virgo, because it's probably taken, for some of you, decades to be in this financial situation. You've probably endured a lot of failures. You've probably, had a fall from grace at some point in time. And I feel like for a lot of you, you've dealt with a lot of broken promises and disappointment. But you've climbed back on top now, like to be like, to fall down and then to get back up to this level. Like, that doesn't happen because you're lucky. That happens, well, you are lucky because the Wheel of Fortune's come out, but that's because you're hardworking. And Pentacles people are very hardworking. They're very career focused. Yeah, and then let's close out the reading with the Wheel of Fortune. Well, okay, on the back end is like obviously some form of luck people are talking about or gossiping about. But I actually am sort of coming back to this romantic energy. Like, I feel like somebody's gossiping about that you are destined to be with them. Like, this is destiny that's brought you together. The universe sees you two as soulmate material. Like, it was a fated meeting is what I'm hearing with this Wheel of Fortune. I think there's going to be some big relationship changes for you guys, and you may not see it right now, but it is. You might think, because this person, if you are dealing with a person, is very slow moving, but things are going to move up a notch. And when it moves from where it is to the next level, it's pretty like substantial progression. It's not like having a silly little conversation about where you're at. It's more of a serious, down to earth, like very focused conversation is what I'm hearing or seeing. I'm seeing two people sitting at a table looking very like serious. Now, other people could be gossiping about you with this Wheel of Fortune in regards to some kind of fortune you have recently like come into. Maybe you took a chance on something. Maybe you made a few changes and that resulted in some form of wealth, right? This could be gossip coming from like talking about your prosperity, your abundance with that Ace of Pentacles. And kind of thinking back to that Six of Wands with like, misfortunes and whatnot, I feel like the Wheel of Fortune can talk about bad luck, right? Setbacks. So people could be gossiping about like, now's your time, like you are destined to be with somebody or have good fortune because of all the setbacks, because of all the bad luck you've endured. I feel like you guys have had already endured a lot of harsh lessons, probably recently, and you've probably had to like release control or stop clinging on to control in order to bring this positive luck or good luck towards you. And it's really worked for most of you is what I feel. So yeah, that's what I got for you, Virgo. Let me know if that resonated. Also, if you're looking for a personal read, the description to my Etsy store is in the description box. And I will see you next time. Bye. Ophiuchus, welcome to your reading. Let me know down in the comments, please, if you did click on this sign, just so I know for future references whether to continue keeping it. Obviously, it saves me 15 minutes of my life. We've got the Sun. Might be feeling quite happy. We've got the Five of Swords. We've got the Sun, and we've got conflict and chaos. Oh, we've got the Empress. Six of Swords, too many. Page of Swords, Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Some of you could have, not Ophiuchus, sorry, this is Scorpio, but you know what? I'm going to switch that because what's meant to be will be. But Ophiuchus comes after Scorpio. Isn't that funny? Maybe you need to check it. Well, Ophiuchus is a combination of Scorpio and Sagittarius. So definitely check that out, maybe. Maybe go back to Scorpio. Alrighty. The Sun. What are people gossiping about when they're gossiping about Ophiuchus? Because we've got the Five of Swords after the Sun, I kind of feel like people could be talking about like you were in a state of confidence, you were dealing with like you were in a state of happiness, like you were very open, there was a lot of success and freedom that you were experiencing, right? Like big success, like big opportunities. And I feel like with the Five of Swords there, somebody's talking about conflict eventuating from that. And with the Empress here, this is like somebody's mother, or this is like a female boss. Like I feel like there's gossip here surrounding like how somebody blocked your happiness, right? Somebody created conflict in your life, was bitching or backstabbing you behind your back in order, it could even be like a baby mama here or a baby father, baby daddy, or whatever you call them. And I feel like there is some sort of toxic energy here that needs to be sort of addressed. So people are gossiping about some kind of backlash or bullshit that you've had to endure because of the father of like your partner's child, or the father of or the mother of your own child, right? But needless to say, we'll look at these cards individually. So the Sun can talk about people gossiping about how much freedom you have, how much success you've got. You're very optimistic and very confident, right? You've had a lot of great success recently is what I feel. For others of you, people could be gossiping about some kind of blocked happiness that has recently unfolded for you. So you could be not feeling very optimistic. You could be feeling quite pessimistic. Oppression is also connected with the Sun when we're looking at it from a low vibrational stance, and I can't help to think that because we do have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords goes on to discuss what people could be gossiping about is some kind of like argument you've had with somebody, some kind of dispute. It could be gossiping about somebody bullying you to bring you down because you're in a high vibrational era, right? when you're in the sun energy, you're a happy motherfucker, right? Like you're out there having a good old time. You're not letting people rain on your parade. But then when you have this Five of Swords energy, this is somebody deliberately going out of their way to bring you down off your pedestal. And that's toxic as fuck. And empresses can be very toxic. You got to think they're all the four queens in one. So when you look at an empress in a low vibrational energy, she's a mean motherfucker. Like you wouldn't even, she's a snake in the grass. You wouldn't even know she was coming. But like until it's done, until she's mastered the plan of fucking your life up, that's when you figure out that they would always like, they're toxic. Yeah. So yeah, people are definitely gossiping about some kind of tension that you have with an empress here, or some kind of tension that has unfolded because some sort of conflict, right? The other aspect of Five of Swords is like all this bullshit unfolded and maybe you still want reconciliation with somebody. You're still trying to reconcile with somebody, and that could be because you are trying to patch things up with somebody like a part of the family, like, you know, the baby mama or the baby daddy, because it's easier to live life when everyone's getting along in those sorts of dynamics than when everyone's fighting. Like that's putrid. I think people need to grow the fuck up when it comes to that sort of environment for the children, obviously. Five of Swords talks about infidelity and deception, right? So it's like people could be gossiping about infidelity that has been imposed by you or imposed on you, right? But people are definitely gossiping about deception that is around you or you are involved in, right? That has created some kind of dispute. So just bear that in mind. Like people are up in your business, Ophiuchus, is what I feel. And with the Empress here, so whether or not the Empress coming out is indicating like who is up in your business or like trying to rain on your parade, or people could be just gossiping about you being the Empress, right? And that makes also a lot of sense, because when you think about the Five of Swords and it being a reconciliation card, you know, that's going to make people gossip about like, fuck, you know, Ophiuchus could have just went to town on these people, but instead they're trying to get everyone to be on the same page, to get along or at least tolerate each other for the greater good. And that is a high vibrational Empress person, right? An Empress wants people, you know, especially in a family, you know, operating from a feminine energy, not a masculine, right? They want everyone to be in a nurturing state of mind. They want everyone to be working together harmoniously. Like they want to be very sensual, everyone to be sensitive, be mindful of, you know, their P's, their Q's. Yeah, and I think just to be in an environment that is very loving and nurturing is what I'm hearing. So somebody is gossiping about you, maybe trying to reconcile reconcile with people for a certain reason, to be a better parent, maybe, for you all to be a better parent. So this is like some of you, this is like Jerry Springer shit. Like there's some hectic shit that's been going on with parents. Like I'm seeing parents and kids like being pulled left, right, and center. It seems really like chaotic. And I feel like you are being gossiped about here in regards to you were standing in your power and you're like, no, I'm not going to like stoop to the level of this. So somebody could have like thrown a milkshake or something like that. And you're like, you know, I could tolerate, you could retaliate and throw the milkshake back, but you're not. You are trying to be the bigger and better person here for the children is what I'm hearing. If that's not resonating, then I would just say that people are gossiping about you being like the holy grail here. Like you're smart, you're funny, you're intelligent, you're comparing, you're kind, you're compassionate, but you're not a dick, right? You're not pretentious, you're not superficial, you're very grounded, like Glenda from The Wizard of Oz, right? But some people could argue the fact that Glenda is that way inclined. But anyway, Six of Swords in regards to gossip. Yeah, like you're a person who is all about accepting lessons and moving on from things that do not serve you. When you think about the Six of Swords, it's like, you know, moving away from like drama and bullshit into calmer waters because life is a lot easier. So people are definitely gossiping about how you prefer to take an easy road than the hard road. You prefer to be the bigger person and just say, yeah, no worries, Rhonda. When Rhonda's standing there screaming abuse at you, you're happy to you're really good at diffusing arguments is what I'm hearing. And the reason why this, or what they're saying, is like you prefer to look forward at a brighter future, moving on from conflicts, reconciling with people, healing relationships and situations for a better, brighter future. Like you are very forgiving is what people are gossiping about. People have said many hurtful things to you, yet you still forgive them. That's huge. That takes a really big person, right? I think this is going quite well. Like if this is really resonating, like, and you're concerned about how this is all going to unfold, you have more people in your corner than you realize, Ophiuchus. And then to close out your reading with the Page of Swords, yeah, I think although you're in this nurturing energy and like you deem like you're all about forgiveness and stuff, you're still very witty. I think you might handle, what people are gossiping about is you handle like conflict with maybe dark humor or like a weird warped sense of humor. Like you're very witty, you're very vigilant, you're very communicative, and I think you're also being spoken about being curious. Like you don't let people just say something and then you not explore it. Like if you don't understand what they're saying, you want them to unpack what they're trying to say so you can work with them. I think you're being spoken about how you deal with like petty arguments or conflict. Like you're a person who's very, very patient, and if something or a discussion is lacking like understanding, you will stand there and get them to communicate and explain to you what they're trying to get at. But I kind of feel like you do it in a sarcastic manner, so you could be really good at being passive aggressive is what I'm hearing. So that is what I've got for you, Ophiuchus. Let me know if that resonated. If you are looking for a personal reading, the description to my Etsy store is in the description. The link to my Etsy store is in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye. Scorpio, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what the gossip is on you. I've got the Lovers. I'm hearing Daydreamer or something. I don't know the song, but what do we got here? We have the Lovers. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. Nice. We've got the Knight of Wands. We've got the Eight of Wands. Sorry, the Nine of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Five of Wands, a lot of fire. We also have the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck. We are not reading bottom deck energy, but we will consider it. So the Lovers, what are people gossiping about when it comes to Scorpio? So obviously with the Lovers, it's very straightforward. It could be talking about you either being in a perfect union or some kind of recent partnership. It could even be talking about like how you and this person share values and morals. You kind of like kindred spirits. For others of you, it could be talking about how you are actively looking for a loving, supportive relationship, one that has intense emotional, one that will have an intense emotional, spiritual, and physical bond, right? Others of you, people could be talking about how you view relationships very seriously, like you're all in or you're all out. There's no like half-hearted bullshit. You don't do like maybe fleeting romances, which is funny because we do have the fuck boy, fuck girl energy coming out with the Knight of Wands, but we'll get to that. Okay, so if you've endured any disharmony or trust issues or have trust issues, people could be talking about that with the Lovers card coming out. If you are in a relationship that seems a bit like detached, or you've made a bad choice. People could be talking about how detached your partner is and very cold. And for some of you, maybe abusive. So if that is correct, please get out of that relationship ASAP. So 9 of Pentacles, right? It's my single card, right? It means this card for me talks about like somebody could be gossiping about how your life is always better when you're running your own game. When you're running a single life, it just seems to be more fun. You're more active, you're more vibrant, you're more optimistic. Things go really well for you when you're running your own game is what somebody is talking about. And for others of you, people could be just simply talking about the success that you've recently come into, how you live a luxurious lifestyle. And you deserve this, right? You deserve this material security because you've worked really hard, right? Or you've had to like slug it out and do it all on your own. And so you deserve this success and prosperity that you are receiving at this time, if that resonates, right? For others of you, the 9 of Pentacles can talk about people gossiping in regards to you being very guarded when it comes to love because you have endured deception. It can also be talking about how you focus more on material things rather than love. So you're chasing money and items as opposed to romantic suitors. Or they could be gossiping about that you're very selective with your suitors because if they don't have money and material items, you're not interested. So it is what it is. We're allowed to have our own references. Some of you could be spoken about you being very reckless with spending at this time or being a bit superficial. But, you know, you are who you are. If it's your money, it's your money. You do what you want with it. That's the way I see it anyway. And then we have this Knight of Wands, right? So people could be gossiping about like a fuck boy, fuck girl trying to pursue you, especially if you're in your single era. You could even be in a relationship and this person is trying to pursue you. Or it could be this Knight of Wands actually gossiping about you, talking about how they want to take action towards you. You know, they want to maybe travel towards you, travel with you, go on some kind of passionate hideaway weekend is what I'm hearing. If people are gossiping about the Knight of Wands in reflection to your character, what they'd be talking about is your high vibrational energy. You're very courageous. You're also very charming. You could be being seen as rebellious here, a very free-spirited person. You don't follow everyone else's path. You seem to be a master of your own destiny. You do what you want. You go where you want. And that's a very independent 9 of Pentacles energy as well. So people could find you, people could have a sense of inferior towards you, Scorpio, because you could be living a life everyone wants to live, right? You've got it all. You've got the money, you've got the job, you've got the material items, you've got the personality, you've probably got the looks. And Scorpios have this very alluring sexual energy, right? I'm just hearing like, I just want to fuck. And that's the Knight of Wands energy. And sorry if that's a bit vulgar, but yeah, that's sort of what I'm picking up there with the Knight of Wands. You know, some people could deem you with that Knight of Wands before we move on as maybe being a little bit arrogant and a bit impatient, but you're a person who knows what they want and they go after it. There's no fucking wasting time. It's like, I like you, I like you, cool, let's go. So that's sort of the vibe I'm picking up there. Feel like I'm moving really quickly through yours, which is good, which probably explains your energy. You're like, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Or like maybe like, bam, wham, thank you. Roodum, boodum, no. Nothing wrong with that. Whatever, you do you. 8 of Wands, right? This is this travel energy coming through. So people are definitely talking about some kind of travels that you've recently been on, or maybe you are planning. If you are moving anywhere, people are talking about that. If you're making wanting to invite change or something in regards to where you live, somebody is talking about that. But new love interest is definitely affiliated with the 8 of Wands. So I think if any of you are sort of single and you're mingling, you definitely have new love interest gossiping about you, talking about probably you in this Knight of Wands energy, this 9 of Pentacles, and probably the lovers. They see you as an option. They see you as a choice. You bring a lot to the table. I think you are very hard to attain and you're very hard to like make plans with is somebody saying like you're always busy, you're always on the move, like there's always sudden changes happening in your life. So if they aren't quick to communicate, to plan something with you, they won't be able to plan anything with you until you become available, is what somebody is discussing about. I think somebody is gossiping about presenting you some kind of surprise in store. So some of you, if you work in a store, somebody's going to bring you a surprise in store. For others of you, they have a surprise in store for you, like they want to surprise you with maybe a weekend getaway. They want to bring you some kind of gift, and this is to maybe buy your love, I'm hearing. I also feel like somebody's gossiping about how a lot of money comes in and you spend a lot of money. A lot of money comes in and a lot of money is going out. So some people could be saying that you are either responsible or maybe irresponsible with money. Take that as it resonates. I guess it depends. If you're paying your bills and, you know, you spend your money the way you like. If you're, you know, not meeting bill deadlines and still spending money like, you know, Cleopatra, then yeah, that's irresponsible. But yeah, take that as it resonates. Yeah, I also feel like with the Eight of Wands, like if a relationship starts to lose momentum, what people are saying is like you just move on. You see it as a delay, a setback, a blockage. So you don't really waste time with people that you're not feeling a fiery, like sexual chemistry with. So I think sex is a big thing for you guys, or at least like a big portion of whether or not you continue to pursue somebody. If the chemistry isn't there, then I feel like somebody's saying that you won't waste time with anyone. Like you won't waste time with people that you don't have a sexual compatibility is what I'm looking for. And then to close out your reading with the Five of Wands, I feel like somebody is gossiping about like having to compete for your time and attention here, funnily enough. I feel like you've got many suitors is what they're saying, and it's leading them to having to compete for time and attention for you. So they're thinking about, or they're gossiping like I have to make these large extravagant gestures for Scorpio, or else they're going to forget about me. I think you are in your prime right now. Like you're oozing this strong sexual energy, maybe siren energy. So at least this is what this person is freaking out about, or maybe gossiping about. Like if I don't act now, I'm going to miss my opportunity with Scorpio. I also feel like for others of you, people could be gossiping about any conflicts or arguments that they've recently had with you, or disagreements. They could be talking about an aggressive side that came out of you as well, or they're worried to have an argument with you because of your aggressive side. And your aggressive side could just be very cutthroat and you don't take any bullshit. And then some pansy will be like, oh, you're so aggressive. But, you know, that's somebody like trying to play the victim when actually they're not the victim, right? So that is what I've got for you, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Sagittarius, welcome to your readings. So we are going to find out what the gossip is on you. If you're new to my channel, you can see Sweetie in the background. Had to have a little break after doing the other signs. So we've got 4 more to go. So we've got fresh new energy. Oh, it's freezing here. We've got 3 of Pentacles. We've got 10 of Pentacles. This is nice. The Hierophant. The Queen of Swords. And the King of Wands. Alrighty. I belong in tropical weather. Alrighty. Where are we starting? 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, the Hierophant. Gossip. It could be a specific like Queen of Swords, King of Wands, people, like 2 people specifically talking about you with the 10 of Pentacles coming out. It could be family gossip. All right, let's just flag that now. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but that'll either resonate or it won't. Three of Pentacles is obviously can be a work card as well. So it could be workplace gossip. But let's get into it. So Three of Pentacles in regards to gossip, what people could possibly be saying about you is you either work really well in a group dynamic or you don't work well in a group dynamic, right? So take it as it resonates. So you could be really good at collaborating with others, or maybe recently you have collaborated with somebody else and people are gossiping about that. Like, hey, did you see Sagittarius has teamed up with XYZ and it worked really well. You know, you may have shared goals with other people around you and they're gossiping about that. And for others of you, if you sort of like lacking motivation at this time, or there's, you know, lack of teamwork happening around you, or you are, I guess, you are the one who's not putting in the teamwork, people could be gossiping about that. You could be just really over your job and couldn't give a fuck. So there is that sort of energy I am picking up, but I do feel for the most of you, people do thoroughly enjoy working with you. And the reason why I would suggest that or assume that is because all the other cards that came out for your reading are highly positive cards. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. Three of Pentacles can also indicate people are talking about your creative hobbies, if you have any. And if you are with anyone, you could be planning something with somebody soon, or they're gossiping about wanting to plan something with you soon, all right? So you could be growing and learning about somebody and they're talking about how the two of you are getting to know each other. It could be like the early stages of a connection here as well. Three of Pentacles can be a marriage card. So someone could be gossiping about your marriage, or maybe they're gossiping about wanting to marry you. You know, what it would be like to be married to you. So take that as it resonates. 10 of Pentacles, obviously this can indicate people are gossiping about your family roots, your family ties. They could also be talking about any, you know, privilege, wealth privilege. I was going to even say white privilege for some reason. That is coming through. Inheritance is also a big part of the 10 of Pentacles, and wealth and money. So if you've recently come into any money, people could be gossiping about that. If you are moving forward in a long-term committed relationship and you are looking at settling down, people would definitely be gossiping about that. And then obviously you can look at the 10 of Pentacles as somebody securing a job for a stable future, right? So some of you could have just landed the almighty career, the almighty job that comes with, you know, the car, the phone, the laptop, and, you know, a big old salary. So someone could be discussing your career, so to speak. If you have been, you know, building up your savings, which is obviously turned into a significant amount of wealth, I definitely feel like people are gossiping about your wealth, maybe how you got your wealth. Your family could be gossiping about that. Some of you, you could have family sort of sitting around discussing how they feel about a long-term partner you've been with. So family approval is heavily linked with the 10 of Pentacles. So they could all be sitting around gossiping about whether or not they approve the relationship you are pursuing. Maybe you're pursuing a relationship with money, right? So maybe they're sort of discussing that. You could be trying to break traditions, like step away from your family, like heritage or your family like tradition or legacy, and try and make it out on your own. Paris Hilton's coming into my mind for some reason. That's not a name that normally does. So maybe if this is resonating, the gossip here is like, you know, the domestic disputes or the conflict that has been ongoing between you and maybe certain family members that do not approve of you taking a different path to the business, because the 10 of Pentacles can talk about a family business as well. So maybe there's some audience here where, you know, there was an expectation for you to take the same path as, you know, your father or your mother, and you're not. So rejecting a legacy can be really hard for families to accept. But, you know, this is your life. So I think you already know that Sagittarius normally run their own race, don't they? So Hierophant, okay. Whether or not it's on the back end of this family thing coming through, but obviously we could look at the Hierophant as you're rebelling against traditions, or you're challenging the tradition, or you're not conforming to what they expect you to. You are being very ignorant. You want to choose your own path. You want to bring in new methods. So maybe you are going to pursue the family business for some of you, but you want to bring in new methods, all right? You want to change things up, and people are gossiping about that, right? But the Hierophant on a more lighter sense can talk about somebody, you know, having a strong focus to commitment and marital like beliefs. So people could be gossiping about how serious you look at marriage, and that's why you're not just going to settle down with any Tom, Dick or Harry here. And for others of you, I feel like with the Hierophant, like you're really good at knowledge sharing. So I see this in the workplace. I think you can train new employees or even existing employees really well, and people are gossiping about that. Like, you know, I learned from the Sagittarius like how to do X, Y, Z, and other people sort of saying, yeah, they actually taught me that too, and it's made life really easy. So I feel like that sort of ties back into that Three of Pentacles, the team collaborative energy that I was picking up earlier. And then we have the, what is that? Queen of Swords. Wrong. Queen of Swords, whether or not it's indicating the person, this queen, a person that aligns with the Queen of Swords attributes is the one gossiping. But we are asking what the gossip is on you. So Queen of Swords is probably how people are talking about your characteristics and about your persona and your personality. So it can be fairly positive. The Queen of Swords is somebody where you're always going to get a fair and constructive point of view, a very honest one as well. Like you have a very black and white perspective, I believe people are talking about. You're a very quick thinker. You're very honest and very independent. And I think people are also gossiping about how you're always take an objective point of view when analyzing situations. But on the flip side of a Queen of Swords, you know, some people could be gossiping about you being a little bit harsh, a bit bitter, like you tell it how it is. So, you know, you're not for the weak. You know, people who have like, you know, thin skin, so to speak, would probably deem a Queen of Swords energy as cruel and bitter and, you know, pessimistic, cold-hearted kind of vibe. But that's not to say you are. It's just when you know what you want and you're very independent, like the way you are, you don't beat around the bush. You don't sugarcoat shit. You know, you're not going to, what's the word? You're not going to, yeah, it's like, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to try and figure out that analogy because it'll just come out and sound really fucking stupid. People could be gossiping, again, heavily about your independence and how you're a very discerning partner. Like you don't just go and jump into any old relationship with anyone. People could be gossiping about your exterior and how intimidating you are. Like you could have a very strong resting bitch face here, though you are very loving and loyal, right? So what else? Yeah, I don't know. I think constructive criticism is really coming through here. So people could be gossiping about like, you know, Sag is like really direct and like rude and blunt, but somebody else is saying, yeah, but it's constructive criticism. They're not tearing you a new one. They're trying to help you. So it may have something to do with the workplace here. Like it's sort of like, I'm sort of seeing two people saying, no, you're like misinterpreting what they're trying to say to you. Like they're actually trying to help, but they have this very stern direct, assertive sort of tone. So maybe how you are, because Sagittarius is quite known to be like really fun and fabulous, like in a social setting. So maybe it's just in the workplace for you guys. You're very stern and very direct. You go to work, and then like when you go home, like you're more this carefree sort of Sagittarius energy, if that makes sense. So that's sort of the vibe I'm picking up. But Queen of Swords is a card that definitely talks about gossip at work. So just be mindful. You know, they might view you or be talking about you being overly critical or harsh at work. But I feel like somebody else is saying, yeah, but it's because you're not doing your job properly, or it's because you're slacking off, or it's because, like, you know, it's not because they're going out of their way to be like that or to say those things. I feel like somebody's trying to defend you, Sag. Like, I feel like they're saying, like, they don't just go around being harsh or assertive. It's because you've given them a reason to. So I think that's positive. The fact that you do have somebody backing you with this gossip. So if anyone is trying to like taint your name or anything, I feel like you always have people around you going, no, you've totally misunderstood, which is good. That's what you want. King of Wands as gossip. It could be just the fact, like, they're on the back end of that Queen of Swords is like you're in a leadership role. If you're not in a leadership role, like maybe what they're saying is like you used to be in a leadership role. So you take more of a managerial approach to your role, even though you may not be required to. And, you know, you take control of the situation, you get the work done, you're very bold and daring, okay? King of Wands are people who go big or like they go home. You're very exciting to be around, you're very charismatic, right? I feel like in a romantic sense with the King of Wands, people could be gossiping about you being very protective of your partner or your relationship, or maybe this is something you are looking or seeking from a suitor, okay? You could be talked about having high expectations, right? And I kind of want to come back to this like work thing, because the King of Wands can be deemed a tyrant, like sort of very forceful, everyone get the job done, like very rigid and sort of a bit autocratic. But I definitely feel like it's because, you know, when people go to work, they should be working, right? They shouldn't be there to like socialize or like do fucking nothing. And I think you guys have that mindset. You're very motivated and action orientated when it comes to work, and that's why you have become so successful and respected. But I think you've got some people around you in the workplace that don't like it. They're simply there just to, well, excuse the term, like fuck the dog is what we say. And I know that's a really fucking profound way of saying it. It's like to go to work and do absolutely fucking nothing. I really struggle to work with people like that. But yeah, it's just a mining thing it's just derogative. I shouldn't have said that, but I am sorry. That's what I've got for you, Sag. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments. If you're looking for a personal reading, head over to my Etsy shop. The link is in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Capricorn, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what the gossip is on you. We've got the Four of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, wow, the Eight of Pentacles, the Death card. And what's that? This is an extra card, the Paladin. So just bear with me. Well, I'm pretty confident to say that the Paladin really aligns with the Capricorn energy. So I've had to go to the book, the little information booklet for this deck. It says the classic meaning of this card is a fair knight, a gentleman, a benefactor, reliable support for many years, a devoter, an assistant, a lordship, dedication to the idea. So this gives me like kind of Knight of Pentacles cross like King of Pentacles cross like Queen of Pentacles, like the combination of the three together with a splash of Emperor. If I had to connect it with other like other cards, right? Yeah, I feel like you're a person that, like, you're definitely a person that's mastered how to, like, control emotions and don't show all your cards at once is what I feel. You're very smart. I think you're very smart in social settings. You observe things. So the gossip here, it could be that. Like, you're a highly aware or observant individual, and it's very hard to run a game on you is what somebody could be gossiping about you here with that Paladin, the Paladin. So moving with the other cards, right? And obviously we've got a lot of Pentacles here, so it does make sense for that strong like Pentacle Court cards to come through that Paladin. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to keep moving. So the Four of Pentacles sort of even reiterates, I think I just said, like, you keep everything very close to you. Maybe previously the gossip could be like you were all over the place. You were like an emotional roller coaster. It was really erratic. And now, like, you've learned to like hold your shit together and you don't tell anyone anything until you feel it's very safe and appropriate to express. I feel like you've got your emotions in check, or at least people are talking about this. You know, you could have gone through a bit of an erratic era. So instead of like sitting people down, telling them how you feel, you might have just been sort of like yelling at them is what they're talking about. So you are more in a stable and secure energy at the moment. You could be being spoken about at the moment in regards to hoarding material items. You know, the Four of Pentacles can talk about hoarding and being very possessive with material objects. So take that as you will. The flip side of the Four of Pentacles, people could be gossiping about your generosity and you giving. You could be showing signs of reckless spending as well here. If you have a partner, people could be gossiping about you having a clingy partner. The Four of Pentacles can talk about that, and that partner being very possessive and jealous of you, not letting you go wherever you want to go. And if you go somewhere, they've always got to be there. The old ball and chain is what I'm hearing. So people could be gossiping about that, or they could be gossiping about the fact that you had a partner like that. So you could be still in a process of healing in order to open up yourself to love again. Someone could be talking about that. So it could be the basis that you need to be letting go of fear and insecurities in order to be ready for new love, right? Or letting go of a toxic relationship. And there's nothing more toxic than a clingy partner not letting you go where you want to go, and always having to be by your side. That's a pretty, it's like a DV relationship, right? So yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting with the Four of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles, you know, again, it's kind of correlating with this clingy partner. So maybe you've just come out of some form of hardship and people are gossiping about that, or you are currently in hardship, right? You could be dealing with some kind of financial hardship, poverty, unemployment. If that is the case, people are gossiping about that, and I'm really sorry. All we can hope is that if they're going to gossip about such a topic, that they should be putting in just as much effort to help you find employment or to help you financially, you know, if you are severely struggling. If you are isolating yourself, people are gossiping about that, and that could be the fact that you are isolating yourself to heal with that Four of Pentacles energy coming out with that partner stuff. Maybe some of you are trying to pull together to save this relationship that we speak of with the Four of Pentacles, and I feel like people are gossiping that they want you to maybe overcome this adversity for your own self. But there seems to be this level of like trying to improve the relationship, taking a chance. So in saying that, maybe some of you were the clingy partner, you were very possessive, you were really codependent, right? Somebody could be talking about, and maybe kind of coming back to that initial energy of you getting more control of your emotions and trusting. Like maybe you were codependent or you are possessive because of you holding on to past situations with this person, or previous partners is what somebody could be talking about. Either way, there is this element of overcoming struggles that is being spoken about. Like you are overcoming this sort of what seems to be like negative chitter chatter happening about you. But if you're unemployed, they would definitely be talking about that. So Shay has attended your reading, which is great because she never really comes to the videos, and I only posted on my channel the other day, like introduced a photo of her, and she's a rescue cat. She didn't have a very good start in life, so she's very timid. She acts like I give her the world and she still runs away from me as if I'm going to, I don't know, chop suey her. But she's such a beautiful cat. So I think it's nice that she's joined your reading. So I'll put the camera on her and hopefully you guys appreciate that. You should be feeling very blessed, Capricorn, because Shay never comes to these readings. It's normally just Sweetie and Luna. Okay, so what else have we got here? I feel like we've kind of covered everything. Maybe if you have been out of work for a little bit, you're about to return to employment, you know, and if you are looking at having to pay off debts, I do feel like people are gossiping about that, and they're talking about how you are becoming more financially stable. You are getting back on your feet. So that's quite positive, right? You are overcoming adversity either way. What on the world was that? So yeah, anyway, I will figure that out later. Eight of Pentacles is a great card, great energy. So this gossip could be indicating about a skill or a talent that you have. You're an expert in some field. If that's not resonating, you're like, no, I'm not. Like, I have low skill, I have lack of motivation, I'm misdirected, I'm very lazy, then they could also be talking about that. Like you could be neglecting your love life or neglecting your partner. There could be some gossip about that. But I don't know. I think we're all a master of something. So I definitely feel like you have attain some kind of education and have become an expert in a field. And maybe what the gossip is why you're not pursuing, you know, the accomplishment of some form of education, because it would lead you down the path of a very successful career. But maybe that's just not who you are anymore, Capricorn. Maybe you need something new, something different. You know, maybe you're feeling really bored in the career that you currently have or did have, and now's time for a renewal is what I'm hearing. But I definitely feel like the gossip here is like, if you were to pursue a skill or a talent that you have, you'll have financial independence in no time. So somebody has a lot of faith in a skill that you have. Now, if you are in that committed relationship, again, it could be talking about you neglecting your love life to maybe focus on the career, or it's the other way around. Like the person that you're in a committed relationship is neglecting the love life with you in order to like focus on their career. So take that as it resonates. Some of you could be reaching relationship goals in a positive aspect, like you're putting in the effort, you and your partner are showing appreciation, or at least this is what people are talking about. And then to close out your reading with, what is that? The Death card. Well, that's some form of transformative energy, isn't it? So I would have to say here, people could be gossiping about a new version of yourself, which we sort of picked up with the Paladin card. It could be a spiritual transformation that you have undergone as well. In other ways we can look at this, people could be talking about how you need to let go of something, like you need to end something in order to bring in the new, right? So if it's the relationship, like if you've been stuck in a relationship that's simply not working, that's what people are gossiping about. Like it's maybe time for you to walk away, like end this chapter. So another chapter begins, one that's more like you finding a partner that's more suited for you, more aligned to your values and your morals, right? And they could even be saying the more this goes on with you preventing the change or you preventing the ending, like they're talking about like some form of upheaval, like a tower moment unfolding for you because you're not listening is what I'm hearing. So take that as it resonates. Yeah, like they could be talking about you avoiding dealing with something that needs to come to an end, right? So it could be just you avoiding going back to work, you avoiding seeing the relationship that you are in for what it is. But I definitely feel like the death card is more indicating like positive gossip. Like these people want to see, like if you have been going through it, like they want that to be over for you is what I feel. Like I don't pick up like horrible, like negative energy in regards to gossip here. I feel like these people are wanting, like if your life's been very stagnant, if you've had a fear of new beginnings or fear of change, they want you to feel more stable and secure within yourself to know you can trust those changes. You can invite them in without any fear or concern. So maybe these people will step forward and like assist with this, especially if you're super unhappy, right? But yeah, that's what I've got for you, Capricorn. Let me know down in the comments if that resonated. If you are looking for a personal reading, the link to my Etsy store is in the description. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, Aquarius, welcome to your reading. Let's find out what the gossip is on you. We have the Four of Cups, Gibord, the Tower. We have Strength. We've got the Seven of Swords. Yes. And the Fool. Alrighty. What's going on here then? You know, when the Seven of Swords comes out, it's never like, you know, a sign of positive gossip. I'm just going to rip that Band-Aid right off. But it doesn't mean it's all bad. But yeah, there's a bit of drama, bit of gossip. So Four of Cups, right? I feel like if you've disconnected from somebody, like, or there is some kind of indifference that has unfolded between you and another person, this is what they're gossiping about. Like maybe you've become really bored in your love life, or you were focusing on what's missing in a particular relationship or connection, and people are gossiping about that. Okay. You could be sitting in a state of contemplation whether or not you're going to move forward with a relationship, maybe even with a job, right? And that's what people are gossiping about. I think you guys, people who really like to focus on their happiness, and I think you retreat when your happiness is like on the chopping board. Like if people try and come for you, you pull your energy back. You kind of go into hiding a little bit. I also feel like any of you who have just started a new relationship, people could be gossiping about you finally coming out of like a stalemate. You're ready to open up again. You've let go of the past, like you're being more active in your romantic life. So some of you could be getting spoken about in regards to that. That's all I'm really picking up with the Four of Cups. Now the Tower. The Tower with the Four of Cups. You know, like for some of you, could have really blew up your whole relationship here because it was boring. Maybe you were dating somebody who was really boring. What else? I don't know. Look, the Tower card is one that will talk about destruction, some unexpected event taking place that leads people to feeling very lost, confused, maybe in a state of pain, physical pain. Like if you've had an accident, people are gossiping about that. If some kind of destructive event has unfolded for you, people are definitely talking about that. That could be some serious breakup with you, a partner, or even a friend, or even like a fallout with a family member as well is another way you can look at that. But the Tower can talk about separation, divorces, like crumbling foundations, like people could be gossiping about you may be able to fix it, but it'll take it'll take a lot of hard work. It'll take a lot of honest communication to break through. So infidelity could be a big factor here because of the Seven of Swords coming out, and like the foolish behavior as well. Like when you think about the Fool, it's like saying yes to something that you probably shouldn't be saying yes to, especially when the Seven of Swords is sitting there. So whether or not you did the wrong thing or somebody else has done the wrong thing to you, acted in a very foolish way. And, you know, it's one of those things, you don't know what you got until it's gone. You don't know what you've done until you've done it. And that's what I feel people are gossiping about. Some kind of disaster or tragedy has definitely unfolded here, and people are definitely talking about that. If that's not resonating, you're like, nah, that doesn't like correlate, then maybe the Tower can be considered as gossip in regards to you dealing with problems that come up and that you're not avoiding them anymore. So maybe you were the kinds of people, when problems would come up, you'd stick your head in the sand, like you would avoid trying to end things out of fear, when now you're not doing that. You're like, you know what? You made your bed, you laid in it, I'm out. So you walk away from relationships, and especially toxic ones now, a lot more easier, a lot more freer than you have ever done before. And people are gossiping about that. You could be a one chance wonder now is what people are saying. Like you give your suitors one chance. If they fuck you up, they're out. There's no like accepting the apology. It's not that you're going to go and, you know, worship the devil for bad juju, bad karma to go their way, is what I feel people are talking about. It's just like they won't even waste their time or energy. Like that's where Aquarius is at the moment. Like you do them wrong once and then you're out. Like there's no point. Trying to seek forgiveness, trying to repair or reconcile, because they will never let you back in. Once you're out, you're on the out, is what I'm hearing. So, and I think in this day and age, especially the dating world, you have to be like that. If you are going through like a difficult period at work, like people could be gossiping about you remaining in the job and just working through any difficult situations, or maybe they're gossiping about how you've already done this. Like maybe you won't get along with your boss, because the Tower moment in regards to the workplace can talk about a new boss coming in with, you know, all these new hopes and dreams and all these goals, and like really fucking up the show. So maybe for some of you, people are gossiping about something along the lines of that, you know, a manager coming in, bringing lots of changes in the workplace, which, you know, does stress people out and does create an unstable or unstable environment as those changes unfold or people get used to them. So people could be gossiping about that. We've got strength here, and I like seeing that. It definitely means like people are gossiping about, you know, your courage, you know, and maybe you finally standing up for yourself in times of adversity where you didn't do that before. Maybe you just sort of like, again, stuck your head in the sand and pretended what was going on wasn't. Especially because I can't keep looking at that Seven of Swords. If you've ever been in those relationships where people, you know, cheat on you, it doesn't necessarily mean they physically cheat on you, like they emotionally cheat on you, like, you know, they go and continue to behave in a manner when you've told them it upsets you. So an example would be like, you know, them always commenting and liking all these half naked women on Instagram or whatever like that. And I've got a lot of friends who have been in this boat, and yeah, like it does make women uncomfortable, like some women, and then other women, you know, they don't care. It's not necessarily cheating, but some women do see it as cheating. Each to their own. I'm not here to, you know, say otherwise, but it's kind of giving me that impression, like if you express how something's making you feel, and that person or those people, they don't want to sort of meet you halfway, you're no longer sitting there and just accepting that, you know, you're no longer sitting in a state of feeling powerless. I feel like with this Chariot energy, what people are talking about is like you're overcoming these obstacles. You've got the willpower to walk away. You've got the self-control, and you've definitely got the focus now to be like, you know what, there's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of other friendships I can be a part of, instead of, you know, continuing down this path of being mistreated. So there is this element of empowerment here in regards to this gossip, I feel. Like people are definitely talking about how you've taken a hold of, you know, your emotions and how you deal with situations. Like once you have a clear understanding of what's unfolding before you, you then take proactive approach to remove yourself from that environment. And that takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of guts, especially if it's a marriage you're walking away from, right? Especially if it's a long-term friendship you're walking away from. But I definitely feel like with the Chariot, you're very ambitious now, at least people are talking about. You're very ambitious for a better life, or to see or feel a better version of yourself, right? Yeah, I just kind of think that there is this new sense of self they're talking about. So, excuse me. The Seven of Swords, you know, they, on the back end of that Chariot energy, it could be basically just gossip about the challenges that you've had to overcome, the trials and tribulations that you had to, you know, deal with and grow from, and like heal from even. Because the Seven of Swords talks about betrayal and deception, affairs, right? Somebody going behind your back and scheming against you, like a sense of trickiness. And the fact that the Fool is sitting right there, I can't help to think like, you know, you could have been dealing with like a person who's got a PhD in manipulation, right? And people are gossiping about that. This person had a hidden agenda is what they're gossiping about. And although you could have been very suspicious about them, they hid their agenda quite well from you is what I think they're saying. Again, the Seven of Swords, like I mentioned, is the gossip card. So it's definitely confirming like gossip about betrayal towards you is being discussed. Confessions is also another way we can look at the Seven of Swords, right? Lies surfacing, like coming to the surface. So people could be gossiping about like in due time, like, you know, Aquarius is going to, you know, be presented the truth, right? They're going to be revealed what has happened. So that gossip could be being presented to the people doing the wrong thing by you. You know, you can run, you can hide, but eventually like this is all going to come to the surface. Like the truth comes to light, like it will. And that's what somebody is saying. So hypothetically, if you're kind of connecting with this reading, you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe it does resonate, maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is just like a sort of like a heads up, so to speak, that your intuition is about to be proven right, okay? And I think you could be around shady characters, whether it's in the workplace or in the friendship circle or in like your romantic life. What you may actually find, like if you feel like people are trying to scam you or steal from you, I'm going to have to say, like, believe your intuition. I would actually, if I was you, turn into like, you know, a bit of a spy and start going down the rabbit hole of trying to figure this out. But I don't think you probably need to put much effort in. I think the truth will come to light is what this is saying. And then to close out your reading with the Fool. God, I haven't done a long astrology reading like this forever. Like I am going to have to sleep all night. And because I chose to do Ophiuchus as well, I think I'm even more drained. The But saying that, maybe you guys are feeling that as well. Like you're so fed up, you're really drained, you've no time for like things that are sucking the life out of you. Now, the Fool is a card that can talk about, you know, foolish behavior, somebody being a bit gullible. And I'm just going to touch on this before I move into the other areas of the Fool that can be deemed as gossip. But just on the back end of that Seven of Swords, I feel like people are definitely talking about some kind of reckless behavior, foolish behavior, careless behavior that is being presented to you. I think they're gossiping about somebody acting very stupid around you. I don't believe they're talking about you in this light. I feel like from that Seven of Swords, that's where it's coming from. So people who are trying to scheme against you are gullible to think that you won't figure it out, is what I feel people are talking about. Nearly lost the reading with no battery. Just in the nick of time, right? I've just got that in the nick of time. Maybe you got out just in the nick of time is what somebody's gonna what they're gossiping about. You got out just in the nick of time before maybe a strategy going against you actually played out, is what I'm hearing. So how I want to talk about the Fool, or how I'm being guided to, is there is some kind of like adventure, or adventurous, free-spirited energy being spoken about you. Maybe you need to be more adventurous. Maybe you need to go on an adventure after all of this like doom and gloom bullshit, is what somebody's talking about. Like find your spontaneous self again. I think somebody is talking about you as a person that, you know, had it all. Like you always had new beginnings. You're always going on new adventure, very like fun loving. And then like maybe you got sort of pulled off that track in some kind of toxic cycle here, toxic relationship. I feel like there is gossip in regards to if you're going for a new job, to go for it. Like this would be a really great opportunity for you. It would allow you a fresh start. I feel like there's gossip about people wishing you well wishes, like praying and hoping that new opportunities come your way because you deserve it. So I feel like a lot of you have gone through the ringer because of that Seven of Swords energy. And I actually think the people that are sort of gossiping about you do mean well. They're actually probably more concerned, if anything. So that's what I've got for you, Aquarius. Let me know if that resonated. If you are looking for a personal reading, the link to my Etsy store is in the description. Until next time, bye. Alrighty, Pisces, lucky last. Let's make it a good one. What's the gossip on our Pisces? I'm so sorry. I'm wearing a microphone, so I can't even like... Hang on. It's called pausing the camera, Crystal, and coughing. Too many. So we have the Nine of Wands, the Three of Swords. I'm hearing that song, If I Only Had a Heart. Which one? The Tin Man, wasn't it? He didn't have a heart. We're asking what the gossip is on you. I don't know. I don't think you're the one without the heart. I think based off the cards that have come out, I feel like the person gossiping about you is probably saying, if I only had a heart. Alrighty. Nine of Wands is gossip. Okay. Maybe like with the Three of Swords here, we've got the Seven of Cups. We've got Destiny. So I'll have to look at that one, and Ten of Cups. So I kind of feel like, let me just have a quick look. This card, the Destiny card, fate, a twist of fate, improving the situation, protecting one's destiny from evil influences, changes from the outside. Definitely gives me like Wheel of Fortune vibes. But like Wheel of Fortune with like fighter's energy, right? Like I kind of get, you know, the Wheel of Fortune with like fighter spirit of the Empress, maybe even the Emperor, but like Queen of Swords energy is what I'm picking up from that. But let's start here. So 9 of Wands is gossip. I don't know, maybe you are feeling really drained right now and people are talking about that. Like you've had to spend a lot of time trying to overcome challenges, maybe specifically in love here. Maybe some of you are in a relationship where one partner is putting in more effort than the other. And so like you're kind of giving up on the love. If that's not resonating, you're not in a relationship. Maybe it's the fact that you've given up on love every time that you go and put yourself out there. Like you experience these 3 of Swords moments, like dishonest jerks, people who just tell you what they want to hear until they get to sleep with you. And then it's radio silence is sort of what I'm picking up. So I don't know if people are gossiping about that per se, or that's just a quick energy check-in for you guys. But because the 9 of Wands talks about somebody would be gossiping about you being very resilient and very persistent. So maybe although you want to give up on love, there's gossip around you hoping that you are more resilient, you are more persistent, and you continue to pursue to find love, especially if you want a family is what I'm hearing they're talking about. You know, give it one more last chance. Hopefully Pisces gives it one more chance before they like, you know, raise the white flag and give up. So I feel like you've got a few supporters in your corner here. For others of you, it could be the fact that you could be feeling very fatigued or burnt out. Maybe you're struggling at work and people are talking about that. That is also another way we can look at that 9 of Wands. 3 of Swords, right? It's not it's like one of the shittest cards in the deck in regards to gossip. Like people are definitely talking about the heartache that you've endured, maybe in the past, or maybe if you have recently endured 3 of Swords experience or moment, people are definitely talking about that. And for a lot of you, that's in all different areas of life. For some of you, it hasn't even got to do with loss in love. It's got to do with loss in maybe not achieving a goal or a dream that you've been trying to. But yeah, any trauma you've endured, people are gossiping about that. No, we do have the 10 of Cups here. I would hate to think that they're talking about it in an ill manner. But if you are feeling in a state of sadness, people are gossiping about that. They could be gossiping about you needing to release the pain in order to recover. Like if you're repressing any emotions, you need to heal those emotions and move on. Maybe you need to forgive and forget, or like reconcile with somebody. Maybe some of you have had a falling out with people and they're gossiping about hoping that you reconcile with them. Hopefully that you move on and forgive them, or maybe be open to the idea that they forgive you. I think somebody's done something wrong by you is what I feel. And I feel like there's gossip about maybe open lines of communication have recently happened. And the conversation is, well, I'm letting Pisces come to me, and hopefully they're ready to move on and reconcile from what they did or what has unfolded. Because it can take 2 to tango to have an argument, especially with a friend. Even this could be workplace, like maybe you had a fallout with a work colleague and maybe they're hoping that you can move on from what's happened as well. There could be clashes at work, feeling a bit hopeless in regards to the job as well, or there has been a job loss and people are talking about that. 7 of Cups, you know, this is a very daydreamy energy and definitely fits the Pisces vibe, doesn't it? It's a card that can indicate gossip is being discussed in regards to maybe you being in a very indecisive energy at this time. You don't want to rush in. You're very cautious when it comes to your romantic decisions, or the next job opportunity, right? It can also be suggesting that people are gossiping about you trying to actively make a decision in regards to certain opportunities that have been presented to you in the career space, right? So do you choose a job that presents high finances, or do you choose a job that gives you emotional fulfillment, is what I feel someone is talking about. Somebody could be gossiping about their fantasies about you. There's some kind of sexual energy leaking through here. They might be discussing with a friend about the constant daydreaming of you and hoping that maybe you see them as a choice, as an option, because the Seven of Cups can talk about somebody having a lot of options, but not necessarily like good ones, right? Ones that might look good on paper but aren't, or ones that look good, like the person's aesthetics are great but their personality is rubbish. So people could be gossiping about that, like you have a lot of choices when it comes to love, but the kind of choices that are presented to you aren't what you're looking for, is what somebody could be talking about. Yeah, a bit of confusion and chaos in the love life here is what I feel people could be saying about your romantic situation. Maybe what they're saying is like, Pisces, they just rather remain focused on, their independent desires as opposed to love, because love just presents a lot of confusion and chaos for them at this time. And, the Three of Swords, like when we're attracting people who put us in a Three of Swords experience or situation, like, fuck, you just want to shut the shop up and not worry about love ever again, right? But then we have this Destiny card. And as I mentioned, I definitely get this Wheel of Fortune energy from this card. I get the Empress. It definitely gives me the vibe like enough's enough. Like you're going to, like, the gossip could be like, hopefully like a twist of fate happens for you, right? But the next time, like, whatever situation needs to get better in your world, what they could be gossiping about is that it's a much bigger improvement than the last time, right? So I feel like this has to do with your love life. I also feel like the gossip here is like maybe these people are looking at putting protection spells on you, protection spells on your destiny from evil influences, right? So that could be talking about, like, people are gossiping about, like, you've had such bad luck, but when they look at the situations you've been in, there's been external factors like exes coming into play, baby mamas coming into play, like people trying to rock the boat with you and your suitors, is what they could be gossiping about. Like there's always an outside influence trying to fuck up your show, is what they're saying. Like, I feel like the gossip here is like, hopefully there are changes with the next person, with the next job. So maybe even when we look at employment, you go from job to job and it's just filled with toxic, excuse my French, but cunts. And I've worked in a few environments, mainly one. It was up in Ballina, near Byron Bay, New South Wales, Australia. And it was in a supermarket, and oh my God, these people were fucking inbred. Like they were so mean. They were the like clickiest little town I've ever worked in, like on the ocean. And I shouldn't say they're inbred, like that's so rude, but they were fucking horrible. Like they threw a rock in my back window when I was doing night shift, like changing tickets. I think I was about 23 or something. And there was this chick called Beck, and she looked like that fucking character from Harry Potter. You know, the big, massive teacher. He's like 7 foot and he's got long hair. Put his name down in the comments if you can remember. And she'd come marching up the aisles, and I wasn't scared of her. Everyone was scared of her. And I was like, what the fuck is this beast doing? And anyway, like she tried to like intimidate me and like whatever, but I could always leave. You know, I was about 9 hours at the time. They've done heaps of upgrades on the roads now, but I could always just jump in my car and leave, you know, because working for a big supermarket, you could do transfers. So she was just a fucking wildebeest. And yeah, everyone in the store was scared of her. And it was just something like you'd see in a film. Anyway, maybe you guys resonate with that. Maybe you're in a toxic work environment there. So I kind of feel like with that destiny card, the gossip here is like you're destined for great things. You're destined for a beautiful life. So I do feel like the gossip surrounding you at the moment, Pisces, is positive. It's probably coming from family. And that confirms, like, the Ten of Cups showing up definitely confirms that for me. And I think it's always nice when I do gossip readings that, you know, the gossip isn't putrid shit. Because there are putrid people out there running like their mouths, just telling lies and utter bullshit. But the Ten of Cups, right? It's a very happy card. It talks about somebody feeling very secure and seeking fulfillment. So maybe the gossip here is like they want to see you happy. They want to see you secure in a domesticated, harmonious relationship. They want to see everything align for you. They want the best for you, right? They want to see you in a long-term relationship, one where like the person and you are constantly moving the relationship to the next level. If it's not about romance, then it would have to be about seeing you in a workplace where your hard work is always paying off, like financial security is growing the longer you remain in that job. Like there's no more rocky relationships for you. I feel like the gossip here is like enough's enough. Like Pisces had more than their fair share of the rocky relationships. You know, when you look at the like darker side of the Ten of Cups, it can talk about someone trying to interfere in your love life. And thinking about that destiny card, I definitely feel like the gossip here is like you've had so many people interfere in your romantic endeavors. That is why they've never worked out, because somebody always changes their mind and wants to get back with maybe your suitors, or there's misaligned values. There is some kind of disharmony or domestic conflict. Maybe you've attracted a lot of DV people, like who inflict, you know, pain and misery and toxic bullshit to you. But that is what I've got for you, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you are looking for a personal reading. Link to my Etsy store is in the description, and I will see you next time. Bye.